Hello all, welcome to the new video. Here in this particular video, we are going to discuss one of my interview experience as well as some more important points I wanted to talk about of the like general casual discussion. First of all, this interview is for 3.5 years of experience, and it was for the role of DevSecOps role, and it was for a technical first round discussion. Okay, and the interview will be of 3 rounds. One is for the company. First round will be taken by the company, and the second round will be the client round, and I think only 2 technical rounds, and the third will be HR round only. We'll consider only 2 technical rounds. Okay, and here many people are asking about how to get a interview calls, or in the back end what exactly the process is happening like that. Okay, so in my case I do have different stories for different interviews, so I will definitely share in upcoming videos also in future. This kind of stories. Why? Because these points might also helpful for you also. Okay, and to understand how exactly will be happened in the real time like that. Okay, so I got a first call from, let me take a pen. Yeah, first call from one of the vendor. Okay, which is a hiring partner. Okay, vendor, it's a hiring partner to the company, and the second call is from the company. Okay, here the interview scheduled by the company only. Okay, in the first round also, but I received a call after clearing the first round from the company. Initially, who vendor will be taking care of our entire profile, and they will coordinate with the company. A vendor will be coordinate with the company, and they will send the invitation to me as a candidate. Okay, so this is the whole process it was happened, and I got a, by the time I recording this video, I got a update regarding the second round also. Like, they asked for the availability for the client discussion. If there is any further more update, I will definitely share for you. Okay, and yeah, I think this is the background story for this particular interview, and yeah, without further ado, let's enter into the video. Whenever you are receiving a call, especially from vendor side, don't take it as always negative. Some people have a bad experience or impact, impression on those. Why? Because some companies will be the payroll will be vendor, and you will work for the client. Okay, it is such cases also. But here the vendor will be only hiring hiring partner, and I will work for this particular company, and this company have a client. Okay, so this is the process, and we are not going to get to know everything in one go only. You need to ask to the hiring partner, whether is it for a client, or you are the payroll for me. You can discuss entire if you have any questions in the beginning stages only. Okay, and also notice period also plays a crucial role. Whenever they talk about a client discussion, they obviously look for a candidate who have a very less notice period, like within 30 days or 20 days like that. So that situations also you need to tackle. Okay, and yeah, moving further, if I strike any points in between video or at the end of the video, I will discuss some pointers. Okay, and yeah, without further ado, let's enter into the video. And as I said, it was for a role of DevSecOps Engineer, and it was 3.5 years of experience. Okay, and it is a first technical round, and the company name was Incedo. Okay, and yeah, interview experience was good, and yeah, let's discuss the questions, and also kind of homework for you also I will give. Okay, so yeah, the first question is as usual, can you quickly share your roles and responsibilities as a DevSecOps engineer, your past experience as well. Okay, so here the first round was taken by a candidate. Not a candidate, it's a more senior person who was more experienced into cloud operations, okay, as a cloud engineer, we can say, okay. He took this particular interview. And also one more thing, whenever you got interview scheduled, be focused on the job description, as in every video I used to say, and also do kind of practice for the interview, okay. Why? Because you need to maintain certain guide for the preparation purpose. Why? Because that is going to help you in future also, okay, not only in this particular interview, in future also. Some people just used to prepare from online. Whenever there is a requirement, they will go and search in the Google it or ChatGPT it, like that, watch some YouTube tutorial, like that they will do. But my suggestion is, I mean, it personally helped for me also, so that's why only I'm suggesting. The thing was, try to prepare a kind of notes. I mean, you can write if it is possible, or else maintain a kind of OneNote or notepad. That will very much feasible to you to maintain a kind of centralized notebook that will helps to refer whenever you want to prepare for furthermore discussions in future. That is the one suggestion I can give. And moving to the here first question, it is regarding more about introduction kind of thing. So here you can say in such a way, like my current and prior experiences mostly into delivery, reliable, I mean security implementation into the CI/CD pipeline and infrastructure management. And as a DevOps or and DevSecOps, I worked both with the like good exposure in the deployment part as well as the security maintenance part. And if I come to my day-to-day activities, I was majorly responsible, and responsibilities include designing and maintaining of CI/CD pipelines that primarily works on GitLab, CI, Jenkins, and here there are multiple builds in that particular pipeline. We need to safely build the application, test the application, and then deploy the applications. And there is a shift left security approach we need to follow by integrating the SCA, SAST, and DAST components in the pipeline. And also, if there is any kind of feedback to the developers or some security teams, we used to give the feedback instantly. And I also worked as a infrastructure as a code, like infrastructure management, infrastructure creation, provisioning, and with the help of Terraform, we used to create the infrastructure. And there is a container platform we used to work, which is Docker, where we are going to build the image, and we used to maintain certain security security posture within the Docker. And also we used to maintain a Kubernetes, like Kubernetes clusters with the help of EKS, like AWS EKS we used to manage. And also responsible for maintaining the roles and responsibilities across the network and Kubernetes also. And regarding the vulnerability triage part also, I will actively involve in vulnerability triage part. That includes various scans across the software development lifecycle, starting from Trevi, Snyk, Fortify, SonarQube, VoIPs, different VoIPs dependency check, as well as VoIPs SAP. Different tools will come based upon the client requirements. And also we used to work on remediation, automation and remediation of the vulnerabilities, and monitoring and observability with the help of Prometheus and Grafana, like log collection, monitoring, everything. This is like high level overview on the profile and day-to-day activities. And moving to the next question, what you do in CSPM? I think in the introduction part I included the I highlighted the CSPM also, like I worked as that. So here as a DevSecOps role, it was more into security, right? It is cloud security regarding CSPM. So basically CSPM is a cloud security posture management, where we continuously discover cloud assets and we evaluate them against the security best practices or some regulatory guidelines, and if we detect any drifts or misconfigurations in the cloud, we to automatically remediate those with the help of policy as a code. And we run the IAC static checks with the help of TF check, and with the help of a SNCC IAC scan, and that will basically maintain some security posture in the with the infrastructure level in the cloud. And in CSPM that implements a continuous scan using a cloud native features, or some external tools also, CSPM tools, where we will get to know if there is any public buckets or some unnecessary data or unused EC2 instances like that. And we also automate the low risk remediation. Let's say, for example, by enforcing the S3 encryption, that will make sure the risk will be, the attack surface will be reduced. Okay. And we also integrate the findings into a central ticketing alert system, which is Zira, and we report the compliance posture on like whatever the target application is there, into the, like, it is basically checks which is happened in the continuous integration phase. And yeah, moving to the next question, which tools have you used for SCA, SAST and DAST? Basically for SCA, which is software composition analysis, I have used a SNCC WAPS dependency check, and also integrated into a build stage, and whenever the pull request, it will checks that and performs a scan, and it will fails if there is any high or critical vulnerabilities found. And coming to the SAST, it is a static application security testing. We used to have a placeholder primarily for 45, and code smells for Sonar Cube also we used to use, and it will basically checks the quality, and we used to set up the quality gates within that. And in the Jenkins, we have integrated 45 for a deeper SAST scans, and I mean, wherever the project requires, we used to accommodate the same in the pipeline. And coming to the DAST, which is dynamic application security testing, we use WAPS ZAP and runs a authenticated scans against the like staging applications, and then the results are parsed into a dedicated target enrollment, and that will be let's say in 45 there is a SSC, which is a software security center. We used to give you access to the developer, and there is a bug tracking system also within that. We can assign the ticket to the developer like that. And basically the integration patterns includes SCA runs in build stage, and then SAST runs in the continuous integration or pull request stage with some quality gates and parameterized pipeline, and DAST runs later in the integration or staging where the authenticated sessions, and we need to test the data. In that case, DAST will come into picture. And also we use the same thing in different pipelines like Azure DevOps, Jenkins, GitLab CI/CD, like that. And moving to the next question, are you managing the SCA, SAST and DAST, or security team is managing it? Yeah, regarding the managing part, like are you managing the SAST or DAST, everything like that. We basically, I mean, we have a collaborative model where we follow. My primary responsibility will be integrating and automating and operate the tooling in the CI/CD pipeline. Basically the pipeline jobs and result spotting and a ticket bug tracking system automation, and then we also perform first level triage to reduce the false positives and provide some remediation guidelines that will help to the developer or whoever working on the ticket to fix that with the detailed information. And then coming to the core security team responsibilities, there is we used to define a policy thresholds, and we used to run a deep manual verifications for complex findings, and they used to handle a compliance audit reporting and sign off documents like that, and like own escalation for critical production incidents. Basically this will be handled by the security team responsibility. It is like at the end it is a like combined job. And what is policy as a code? Basically, policy as a code is a practice of writing a system or some policy rules in a mission readable language, and then enforcing them automatically instead of manual checklist. It basically allows version testing and CI validation and automated enforcement. Basically these policy as a code have multiple use cases, like let's say if we wanted to block a public S3 bucket, we can write a policy. We can write a condition, okay. And let's say we need key management system encryption, we can do that. Let's say if we wanted to deny a privileged IAM roles and enforce a container image provisions, and different in CI pipeline also, CI pipeline gates like quality gates we can set up, and like whatever the kind of logics which is writing in the continuous integration or continuous delivery and deployment pipeline, that will also falls under a policy as a code, okay. And if I talk about the benefits regarding the policy as a code, let's say if we have a some issue which is reproducing again and again, we can control that those reproducible errors, okay. And also there will be a fast remediation, and there is a auditable history also we can maintain with the help of policy as a code, okay. And what policy said, what is the findings, and what is filtered with applying that policy, that is the like key finding there, okay. And move to the next question, what is shift left security? Basically shift left is a one term where it will shift left security. If I talk about in the security aspect, where the security moves, basically the security activities whatever you are performing, that will moves earlier in the software development life cycle. So the vulnerabilities which are found are fixed when they are like in the early stages, and the remediation cost for the vulnerabilities is very cheap, okay. Basically shift left in the sense shifting the security to the left side in the software development life cycle. In the software development life cycle, if you see there are plan stage, later core stage, later test, build, deploy, release, and then again feedback, again plan code, like that will be there, right? So the first stage will be like in the development stage, shifting the security to the left. Basically developers work in mostly in the IDEs, so practically helping the developers or suggesting or guiding the developers to identify, helping them to basically to write a secure code, or else if they already written, identifying them to find a vulnerabilities or bugs or misconfigurations within the IDE level itself. And that will basically include SCA, software composition analysis, SAST, IAC scanning. Let's say if a developer written a IAC file, or else a Docker file is written, or else some source code is written, all will be checked and scanned in the IDE level itself. And basically that will results to a fewer findings in the later environments, so let's say QA or some pre-prod or production level time. Okay, and yeah, this includes multiple tools, and that multiple tools also provides you multiple plugins within the IDE level. And the next question was, can you name few tools for policy as a code? It is a kind of follow-up question. Policy as a code, I remembered one tool, which is OPA, Open Policy Agent, which is used for general purpose policy checks, and OPA Gatekeeper, which is like OPA plus Kubernetes admin controls. It is like OPA Gatekeeper for Kubernetes, we can say. And I think these are the two things I said, and later I get to know there are multiple tools which for policy as a code, like conf test, where test the policies against the IAC or JSON configuration, YAML configuration by using a Rego. And there is a HashiCorp Sentinel also, and Cloud Custodian, that is also policy as a code. Yeah, this is also one I answered in the interview. And TFSec, that is also policy as a code. Different are there. Okay, move to the next. How you secured the containers in DevSecOps pipeline? It is regarding container security part, which is Docker. So we used to implement a practical control in the image level, as well as runtime and registry level, everywhere. Okay, so basically if I talk about from the beginning itself, so we used to follow some best practices in the Docker file itself. Okay, so using of minimal base image and maintaining a multi-stage builds in the Docker file, that will basically reduces the surface attack surfaces. And we can run image scans with the help of Trivi container and IAC, like SNCC container, Trivi image scan and SNCC container scan. Okay, these are, it will basically helps us to scan the images in the CI stage itself, and also we can build the logic in such a way we can fail the like further build process or further pipeline process if any critical CVEs are found. Okay, and also generating a SBOM for the images whatever we are using, that is also one of the best practice to implement the security. And also one more security was, which is non-root user using. Okay, basically we need to drop a root user, and we need to create a non-root user, and that will basically helps us to maintaining more secure posture. Okay, and using of private registries with two-factor authentication enabled, and by enabling the image signing wherever it is possible, that is also one of the best practice. And role-based access controls maintaining, and these are the some security features we can we used to follow in securing the containers in the pipeline. And the next question was, can you explain with infrastructure as a code? Basically, the question was, do you have experience with infrastructure as a code? Sorry, my bad. Okay, I do have a experience in infrastructure as a code. I have written reusable Terraform modules, especially for VPC creation, AKS, RDS, EC2, S3, DynamoDB logging mechanism, mostly this. And we also integrated like Terraform files, which is IAC file scanning. With the help of DevSec and Checkov into the continuous integration pipeline, and we also implemented the peer review for Terraform plans whenever there is a Terraform. Before we are applying, we have to perform a Terraform plan that will basically it's kind of reviewing, okay, what exactly it was performing manually, okay. Manually reviewing what exactly it was performing automatically, okay. And yeah, that is the answer. And the next question is regarding the scripting part. He was asked, how good are you in scripting? Can you rate yourself in scripting? Basically, I do have a experience both in shell scripting as well as Python. I can rate 8 out of 10 in Python, and in shell I can say 7 out of 10. In daily we use like as a part of CI in the pipeline. So we used to integrate multiple tools, and we used to set up a multiple flow mechanism in the pipeline, and some a task, like let's say if you wanted to have a simple automation task that will be achieved with the help of shell scripting, and let's say a log parsing we need to do, and some quick installers we need to do. We need to achieve this with the help of bash and shell scripting, okay. And in the Python, we do have automated different scripts with the help of AWS Boto 3 module. By including the AWS 3 Boto 3 module, and we also maintained the flow in the pipeline where we need to run the Python script that will basically get the input as input of the whatever the scan output results is there from Snyk or Trivi or whatever the tool, and based upon that results we need to fail the pipeline with the help of the Python script by reading the result, and if there is any critical or high finding of vulnerability like that, okay. And also we maintained a script to find the rigorously restarting container, or else pod, we can say, okay, a cry, which let's say if the pod is in crash loop back of state, we need to find out that is also one task, okay. Whenever you are attending the interview, it is a must and should question, okay. Why? Because as a DevOps engineer and DevSecOps engineer, they definitely expect a kind of scripting knowledge as well as programming understanding knowledge. So be prepared for that, and as a part of your day-to-day activities, if you are not doing, try to implement, try to create a phase, or try to maintain that posture, okay. Try to look for the opportunity to automate wherever it is possible, or different aspects, okay, where that will get more learning for you in future, okay. And yeah, moving to the next question, if someone asks you to write a code for remediation of vulnerabilities findings, can you do that? And have you written this in the past? It is same like earlier discussion. Let's say if some developer or security team came and asked you to write some Python script where I wanted to remediate the vulnerabilities or findings, okay, how do you do that? Okay, so yes, in my experience I have did that, and have remediated in the DevSecOps context. Based on the different stages, we can say different findings will come, right? I can explain like some scenarios. Let's say if we consider SCA, which is a dependency like software composition analysis, right? So basically it will check the dependencies, okay? And we have automated a PRs, like pull requests, to bump the vulnerabilities libraries by using a tools like Snake and basically here I have written a Python script that fetches the snic, like whatever the scan tool output is there, and determines the minimal safe version, okay? And we created a branch and updated the like let's say package.json or pom.xml that will basically runs the unit tests in the CI pipeline and opens a merge request with the details, like with every details. And that pull request includes a detailed description that includes the vulnerability ID, CVSS score, test results, everything. That is like one of the automation tasks. And as I said earlier, let's say if Kubernetes pod is in the crash loop back of state, we need to identify which exact pod is in crash loop back of state. And also a task where we need to check the resources available or not. Let's say if a file or some exe files is available or not during that particular time only, we need to run the script, and we need to, with the help of script, we need to know whether the file is exist or not within that particular time frame. That is the one of the task. And yeah, different tasks will come. You can also Google it or ChatGPT it and find different scenarios you will come, okay? And it will kind of new learning and homework for you, okay? And move to the next question. Do you know what is SBOM? Yeah, basically SBOM is a software bill of materials. It's a mission readable inventory for all the components, libraries, and their associated versions used to build a software artifacts. That includes the transitive dependencies also, like third-party dependencies also, we can say, okay? And basically why the use of SBOM? It will basically enables to know what exactly we need to, I mean, which component is vulnerable. Let's say if we are using some outdated component and that it is something vulnerable, we can get to know like how many times we are using that, how much percentage it was affecting, and throughout the application, like that, okay? It will basically, I mean, with the help of trivia also we can generate a SBOM. With the help of Swift, Cyclone DX, SPDX, these are different formats of generating the SBOM, okay? And yeah, moving to the next question. What is the role of threat modeling in DevSecOps? Sorry. Yeah, basically threat modeling is an early structured way to identify and prioritize, also to mitigate the security threats. In DevSecOps, it basically helps us to focus the remediation effort and design very securely by maintaining some secure controls. That is basically the use case of threat modeling, okay? And let's say if we practically talk about that, we can basically get to know like when it was happening, how it was happening, and like what exact deliverables it was affecting, okay? What is the outcome we can get to know. If we talk about when, let's say if it was during design, okay? In the planning stages itself, it was the threat modeling will be used, okay? So let's say if we have a data flow diagram, some architectural plan reviews need to be performed, okay? So whatever, like let's say if we wanted to implement some new changes in the architecture level or else some workflow diagram level itself, it is very much feasible to change in the early stage itself, okay, during the design or planning stage itself. I mean, that is the like point of contact for threat modeling. If I talk about when in the time perspective, okay, in the planning or design phase itself, we need to implement the threat modeling. I mean, threat modeling comes into picture. If I talk how it will come, like how that threat modeling comes, basically it will map your data flows. We can say DFD, data flow diagrams. It will basically identifies the attack surfaces and applies a threat framework. Like there are different threat frameworks like Stride, that is the like popular threat framework, and also we can also create a custom threat frameworks. It will basically list the threats and access the risk pointers, like what is the impact and what is the livelihood, we can say, of the threat or else security concern, okay. And what are some mitigations like control features or some design changes or some test cases we need to perform, that will be known, okay. This is how, when covered, how covered, let me write, when covered, how covered, okay. So now the question was deliverables, okay. What exactly the deliverables will be? Yes, sorry for taking longer time. Yeah, I'm just analyzing whether how to put the response to understand you clearly. Basically, deliverables. Let's say if we perform the threat modeling, what will be the outcome? Sorry, we cannot say outcome. What will be the deliverables? So what exactly it will happen? Okay, so it is basically enhancing, okay. And last part was outcome. What will be the outcome of this threat modeling? It will basically convert the high risk items into a pipeline gates where SAST rules or IAC rules, and also we can monitor the we can monitor and alert the system. And let's say if we are designing some architecture for payment application which is running in microservices model, so basically threat modeling will basically founds like what exactly the surfaces attack, or what is the impact of the risk, and what is the mitigation controls. Like these are different outcomes from that, okay. And it will be given as a outcome, and we need to consider that outcome, and we need to modify our data flow diagram or architecture flow diagram accordingly, okay. That is the thing. And moving to the next question, can you explain what types of tasks have you did and delivered by using a bash and python scripting? He was more into this, maybe client required the more kind of a good working experience on this. So he haven't asked you to write anything. If you consider all the questions in the particular interview, there is no kind of more specific question like problem statement and answering like that. He wanted to understand like what exactly I worked. Is the candidate is okay for the profile or not? That is only he wanted to check. Okay, mostly some rounds of some companies conduct the interviews in this way. It's kind of screening round, we can say. But it is a technical only. It's technical screening round. Okay, and yeah, coming to this question, like Basically, as I said, I do have a experience with Python as well as Bash, where I have like if I talk about the task in the shell and bash, we can say CI/CD jobs. I mean, shell and bash will be the same basically. If we use single commands, that is a bash commands, we can say. Okay, shell, we cannot say bash script, we say shell script. Okay, combination of all those bash commands, it's a shell script. Okay, and the extension for this shell script was .sh. Okay, and PowerShell is something different, which is used in Windows. Okay, and the PowerShell extension was .ps1. Okay, I mean, don't confuse between this. And coming to the task, I have used CI/CD job management and maintenance purpose. These shell scripts I have used for checking out the code, for building the code, for running some security checks and uploading the results into your artifact. And let's say if I wanted to perform a quick health checkups and log rotation, some cron jobs I need to work on. In that case, I use this particular shell and bash scripting. Okay, and coming to the Python, like let's say if I wanted to API integration need to be performed. Let's say with the help of API integration, I need to create a Jira ticket whenever the issue was found. So that is the one of the mechanism, and a kind of a notification channel. Okay, let's say Slack is a notification mechanism. Slack is the notification manager to write. So to integrate the API for this Slack, we have used the Python. Okay, and we have used the AWS, I mean Python for AWS automation, especially by using Boto3 module, and managed the different services within the AWS by interacting with AWS 3 with the help of Boto3, and like different tasks. I mean, these are the like major tasks. And coming to the next question, what is the best practices to handle your secrets in DevSecOps pipeline? What best practices you need to follow to handle your secrets? I mean, first of all, we need to never store the secrets or some kind of a sensitive data in the code level or some repositories. Okay, and we can use some tools also for scanning those. That is also one of the best practice within the within the DevSecOps pipeline we need to follow. There is a Git Guardian, Git Leaks. Those are the tools which detects some sensitive data which is stored in the like repository or code without your knowledge also, that will be identified. And we used to maintain a kind of secret manager. Okay, with the help of AWS secret manager, or we used to securely store the environment variables, and we used to map we used to store those kind of data in dedicated like tabs, or if you talk about the Jenkins, there is a dedicated option to store the credentials. Okay, so we used to use those options, and we used to maintain encryption for the secrets with the help of key management system encryption, and we can also rotate the security keys, and we can also automate that rotation mechanism, and wherever it is possible, use a short living credentials. Okay, so by that we don't need to more concerned about those credentials in the future. Okay, and we can also maintain kind of audit and alert mechanism where that will basically monitors and access the patterns and alerts whenever some abnormal activities are found. Okay, and I mean, let's say if someone steals our credentials, okay, so at that time this alert mechanism will be helpful. And moving to the next question, what are all, sorry, yeah, I think these are the like questions he just asked. That is all from my side. Do you have any questions? I asked like what is the scope of the work in the project is, and also project is in which sector. He said telecom was the project sector, and he explained like what exactly the end user like that. He also said like there might be multiple like customers we need to serve for different flavors of customers. So that is the thing he said. And I also asked like what is the further process. Okay, so it is a kind of a hint where you will get to know whether your profile is moving forward or not based upon his or her response. Okay, so if you ask about like I mean, obviously if it is good, then it is good to consider to ask those kind of question. I mean, may I know the further process of the application. And I think regarding the feedback, I mean, some people will consider that, and some people will say kindly like you will get a feedback from the HR. Okay, HR will only give the update, right? So feedback is something different, update is something different. Okay, so some interviewers will directly say you will get a feedback from HR. Okay, that is the one thing will happen. And yeah, I mean, one of the case where I got a feedback from the like real HR, like talent acquisition team is there, right? So the thing was the interviewer shared the complete feedback. He written like each after completing each and every question, whatever the flaws or else whatever the missing part in my response, that is listed down, which is not aligning as per the job, I mean their requirement, that is job description. So once I call them and asked about what, I mean, is there any update on my profile, they exactly like whatever the update he received from the interviewer, the talent acquisition team read in front of me. Okay, he I think I still remember that day around some 5 minutes he took to tell entire feedback, that detail that feedback was. Okay, so it is, I mean, in that interview I learned a lot actually. I think that was the only one interview which I got like a lot of questions. Okay, around some 50 questions literally. I still remember that interview, but it went very well, and a kind of new learning for me. And new, I mean, the feedback was, I was very much like that feedback. That kind of experience you need to get. Okay, so yeah, that's it from my side in this particular video, and we'll definitely meet you in next video with further update. Okay, till then stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.